the Big Mac attack came to town and was as advertised. His grand slam propelled a St. Louis win. But yesterday, the Kid stole the show. Travis Lee blasted 2 home runs in a 7-4 triumph. Who will steal the show today? McGuire and the Cardinals. Lee and the Diamondbacks. Next. Well, like yesterday, the roof is closed today as temperatures draw ever closer to the 100-degree mark here in the Valley. It's a series finale in the rubber game of this set between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And a pleasant good afternoon to you. Alongside Bob Brenly, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Diamondbacks baseball. And, Bobby, how about the show put on yesterday by Travis Lee? The kid is just amazing.
Well, he upstaged Mark McGuire. Most of the fans, to be honest, came to the ballpark to see Big Red hit some home runs, and the rookie upstaged the big boy. This is how legends get started. Those people that came to see McGuire went home talking about Travis Lee.
Well, the Diamondbacks going to try to make it 2 out of 3 before we hit the road again. We'll be going to Cincinnati, then St. Louis and Texas. Matchup today, it'll be Willie Blair on the mound for the Diamondbacks, and he'll be opposed by right-hander Mark Petkovsek. We'll have the first pitch coming your way in a moment. That presents Diamondbacks baseball, brought to you by your Arizona Dodge dealers, setting the standard in product quality and customer service. By Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time. By Bank One, the official bank of the '98 All-Star Game and All-Star Fan Fest, member FDIC. And by the Edge Pizza, new from Pizza Hut. Have you been to the Edge? Another sellout crowd on hand this Sunday afternoon at Bank One Ballpark. Tony La Russa and the Cardinals, 4 games under 500, 9 back of Houston in the Central, and their Dodge starting lineup. Willie McGee in right, Delino DeShields at second, with Mark McGuire down at first. Jordan in center, Gaetti getting the nod at third base, with Ron Gann healthy in left field. Royce Clayton, the shortstop, Pagnazzi catching, Mark Petkovsek, and our Pizza Hut delivery on Willie Blair.
You get a look at Willie's numbers on the season. 2-8 with a 5.02 ERA and 14 starts. His second straight no decision against the Angels last Tuesday. And opponents are getting to him with runners on base. A 3.08 batting average. Overall, the league hitting 287 against Willie Blair.
Well, the Diamondbacks in a thriller yesterday. Got the 2 home runs late from Travis Lee. And they're going to try and make it 2 out of 3 here today over St. Louis. This Cardinal team really struggling.
And they're really struggling on the mound. Kent Mercker hit on the knee with a line drive off the bat of Travis Lee yesterday. He's out indefinitely. Cardinals desperately searching the waiver wires, exploring trade possibilities with almost every team in the major leagues looking for some pitching help.
So here we go. The 2 teams have gotten together 5 times this year. Cardinals at 3-2, and they've combined to hit 21 home runs, including 7 in the first 2 games of this series. Willie McGee in right field leads it off. And Willie Blair delivers. It's in there, a strike. We're underway at Bank One Ballpark. Boy, a beautiful day outside. You hate to see the roof being closed, but with temperatures getting so warm, that's just the way it's going to have to be, more than likely, from now until probably the end of August, middle of September.
You see the roof is closed. The panels, however, are open. They didn't want McGuire to break any of them, I think.
Well, can't blame them for that.
Put on another exhibition today in batting practice. Really a lot of fun to watch.
Well, the crowd all fired up. Probably about 30,000 here for BP again today. And McGuire didn't disappoint anybody. He hit one over Friday's front row grill down the left field line, up above that target, in fact, above there. And above that landing area where a lot of folks are standing above Fridays. 2-2 now to McGee.
Well, much like when Devon White leads off, Willie McGee is not a prototypical leadoff hitter. Normally very much a free swinger. Doesn't draw a lot of walks. Although Willie Blair has fallen to a full count here on Willie McGee. Normally McGee is a guy that goes after one of the first 2 or 3 pitches in a sequence to either get a base hit or make an out. Doesn't like to work deep in the count.
3-2 to McGee. Down to Williams at third base, and McGee retired. The Diamondbacks defensively behind Willie Blair, DeLucci, Garcia again in for Devon White, who jammed his thumb diving into second base on Friday night. Williams, Bell, Fox, and Lee the infield, and Stinnett will do the catching.
And Kareem Garcia patrolling center field today for Devon White.
That ball drilled to deep right center field. Garcia on the run. He's not going to get it. And DeShields can fly. He's making a turn on his way to third base, and he'll go in with a National League leading 7th double of the year.
Now, Tommy, you said it. DeShields can fly around those bases. He cuts the corners so well at first and at second base. Gets a ball he can drive into the gap in right center. Cuts the corners very sharp at first and second base. You see Kareem Garcia tried to cut that ball off. Once it gets by, this is a guaranteed triple for Delino DeShields. And any mishandling of the relay on the way back to the infield, he may score on that ball.
So now they put the shift on McGuire, and there's a swing and a miss.
There you see the defensive alignment that Buck Showalter uses against Mark McGuire with nobody on first base.
McGuire quickly behind at 0-2. 31 home runs for McGuire. 80 runs batted in. And a lot of people overlooked that .319 batting average. This guy just hitting some slugger up there.
He gets his share of hits. You know, so many teams are working him away with off-speed stuff. And when he gets to 2 strikes, he'll take a base hit to right field.
Well, he's got plenty of real estate to work with should he elect to do that right here, with the Diamondbacks having 3 infielders on the left side and Travis split about down the middle on the right. Two and 2 to McGuire, who has been at his best with runners in scoring position this season. A .370 batting average.
Blair threw in 3 consecutive sliders outside to run the count to 1 and 2, then tried to come in with a fastball. Didn't really get it in far enough, but fortunately for Willie, it was up out of the strike zone.
Breaking ball too far in, and now Blair has gone to 3 and 2 on McGuire.
Don't get crazy. You do have a base open, 1 out in the inning. You walk McGuire, it sets up a potential double play.
Struck him out swinging. How about that? Blair gets a strikeout of McGuire with a runner at third, and that's his 2nd out.
Well, as we talked about earlier, everybody would like to see McGuire hit home runs, but the next best thing is to see your hometown pitcher strike out the big slugger, and Willie Blair goes back to the slider away. It's McGuire to swing and miss.
2 away in the inning, but you can't take too big a deep breath here with Jordan coming up behind him. On the ground, Bell in the hole is going to have to hurry. Long throw, and he got him at first base. Good work by Willie Blair. DeShields left at third after a half inning, no score. No score. The Cardinals left Delino DeShields at third base in the top of the 1st inning. So now Buck Showalter and the Diamondbacks come to the plate, and their Dodge starting lineup. Andy Fox is at second, Jay Bell at short, Travis Lee at first, Williams at third, DeLucci in left, Brady in right. Stinnett, Garcia, and Blair round things out. And our Pizza Hut delivery on Mark Petkovsek.
Pressed into starting duty because of the injuries to the other starters on the Cardinals staff. You see his numbers in his starts. Fastball, slider, sinker, change. His sinker is his best pitch. When it's good, he'll get a lot of ground balls. He has been accused doctoring that baseball from time to time. Maybe that's why it sinks so well.
Well, we'll see how it works out here today. There's one down low to Andy Fox, who checks in at 269. 4 home runs, 12 batted in. But very comfortable inside of Bank One ballpark with the roof closed. Granted, the panels are open, but you can feel the air conditioning hard at work. And there's plenty of it in this building. In fact, more tonnage of air conditioning in this building than the entire Arizona State University campus. That's hard to believe. 3-0 to Fox.
You see the air conditioning ducts blowing that cool air down over the fans.
In there, a strike.
See, cool air sinks, right? Hot air rises, cool air sinks. So you put the air conditioning above the fan so the cool air comes out and like a waterfall. Just goes right down over the stands.
Exactly. There's ball 4 to Fox. He draws the leadoff walk. Mark Petkovsek has the first man aboard, and behind him again back in the lineup in left field. Jordan in center, McGee in right. Gaetti at third base today. McGuire across the diamond. The middle infield of Clayton into Shields, and Pagnozzi, a year-round Valley resident, does the catch.
Ronnie Gant in left field. He put on quite a show himself in batting practice today. He didn't quite reach the nether regions that McGuire did, but he had a couple home runs up in the second deck down the left field line.
Gant has missed the last few games with a bad hamstring, right hamstring, so we'll keep an eye on that today. Bell smokes one foul. See the numbers on Bell. The batting average still down there from where he would like it to be. Power numbers pretty good for this point in the year. The 10 homers and 33 driven in.
Petkovsek walked down the runway there to home plate umpire Steve Ripley. Not sure exactly what he was asking him there, but obviously he had a question that needed to be answered, and answered right now. So he charged home plate, asked the home plate umpire the question, and climbs right back up on the hill.
Fox with 2 stolen bases has been thrown out 4 times on the ground. Gaetti, a nice play. Throws to second for 1. Relay to first, and that's a double play.
We talk about the third base position. You don't really need to be quick. You have to be quick. You don't have to be fast. You just need to cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time. Jay Bell hits the hard ground ball to Gaetti's left. One quick step. Reaches down and scoops up the grounder onto DeShields to McGuire, complete the double play. He can still catch pretty much everything he gets to.
Gaetti will be 40 years old August of this summer. And now it's Travis Lee. 2 home runs in the game yesterday. He has 13 on the season, 39 runs batted in. Both those categories tops amongst all rookies. And it's 1-1 to Lee. Good off-speed pitch there, had him pulled 1-2. Five runs batted in yesterday for Lee, establishing a club record as it goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. What a year for this young man, a native of Olympia, Washington. Starting now to see a few teams for the second time as it goes to 3-2, although that will change on this upcoming road trip. The Diamondbacks have not played the Reds this season, and of course they've not played the Texas Rangers. See St. Louis again next weekend. Foul ball.
Of course, the teams that haven't seen Travis live or haven't seen the Diamondbacks live have very complete scouting reports that they get from their advanced scouts, but until a pitcher actually sees that batter in the box and you figure out how far inside do you need to go with the fastball when you're going inside, how far off the outside corner do you have to go to get it away from his swing. Until you actually see that in game action, the scouting reports, they help a little, but not that much.
3-2 to Travis. On the ground at the Shields. And the inning is over. We've played 1 here at Bank One Ballpark. No score. No score as we head for the second inning, and our SRP power performer, Sammy Sosa. What a role he has been on along with his team, the Cubs. Although they are losers again today, should have been swept in the series by Philadelphia of all teams. And Gary DiSarcina of the Anaheim Angels, they are rolling.
DiSarcina's always been known as a good glove man at shortstop. Any offense you got was a bonus, but he seems to be like a fine wine, getting better with age, putting up some offensive numbers, improving those numbers every year as his career goes on.
Boy, Anaheim only a half game out of first. They've gone into Texas and won the first 2 games of that series. They got 18 runs last night. 5 hits by DiSarcina. Edmonds had 4. Gary Gaetti is down a strike. Anaheim had 8 doubles in the game last night.
We've got a lot of guys in that lineup that can hit doubles. Line drive hitters that use the entire field. Defense has to play them honest. You can't overshift on any of those guys. Erstad or Edmonds or Hollins. You got to play them straight up. That opens up some gaps.
They may not let Terry Collins come back. 1-1 pitch, and it's up and in. Of course, Terry Collins started serving his 8-game suspension while the Angels were here. They won 2 out of 3. That one's on the ground, weakly hit to Matt Williams, and Gaetti thrown out by his counterpart. Then Anaheim goes down, beats Texas 2 in a row. They'll play today and tomorrow.
Well, they lost Ken Hill, however. You remember he started back on the 10th here against the Diamondbacks, and Omar Dahl pitched only 3 innings, was very ineffective, gave up 6 runs on 7 hits, and on the DL the next day.
Ronnie Gant now the batter, and the 1-0 pitch. Gant, it's been a season and a half long struggle for this very talented St. Louis outfielder. Has had some tremendous years in the major leagues with Atlanta, Cincinnati, and then his first year with the Cardinals in '96. But since then, for whatever reason, Gant has had a most difficult time.
Now, this is just my own opinion, Tom, not based upon anything else other than my eyeballs. He is too big. This guy's always been a very strong player, but he was a great combination of power and speed in his early days. He got so wrapped up in that weight room. I think he is just muscle bound is not really the word you want to use, but he's not quick on inside pitches anymore. He's not reaching pitches away from him anymore, and he breaks down with regularity. I think he spends too much time in the weight room.
Well, let me ask you, you look at a guy like Gant, I mean, is he all that more muscle bound, so to speak, than McGwire?
Well, I mean, McGwire's been known to lift weights throughout the years, and he has backed off on his program somewhat lately, and he credits a lot of the lack of injuries this year to the fact that he's not working so hard in the weight room. Gant draws a walk here. I mean, Tommy, I know you've seen Ron Gant in the clubhouse. He is stoned. That man, I don't think he's got any body fat.
No.
And I just feel he's lost a lot of flexibility. He's lost a lot of quickness in his swing. You know, for the sake of looking good in a golf shirt. I guess.
We're walking around the beach, although I don't think they have many waves crashing in St. Louis.
Go out there and surf on the Mississippi River. In his days with the Reds, Ronnie Gant was a guy that we'd go over him in advance meetings. Do not throw him a fastball from the middle of the plate in. You could not throw a fastball by him. One of the quickest swings in the National League. Now you can get in there with regularity.
Royce Clayton has had a good series. 3 out of 4, a couple of doubles, a home run, has knocked in 3 and scored 4 times. Gant can run. He has 3 stolen bases, has not been thrown out, but we mentioned earlier, Gant has been out of the lineup up until today with a bad hamstring. 1 out, 1 on, no score. We're in the second. And there goes the runner. They pitch out. Throw to second. in the dirt. And that enabled Gant to slide in safely. Boy, he guessed right, and then a poor throw by Stinnett.
Well, Stinnett just trying to be a little too deliberate on that throw to second base. When you call a pitch out and you see that runner going out of the corner of your eye, many times you have a tendency to slow down and really try to make a perfect throw. You see the throw bounces in. Jay Bell tries to pick it on a bounce, put the tag on there, and Mike Winters, the second base umpire, was right on top of the play. He saw Jay Bell bobbling that ball.
On the ground, Bell, he's going to come to third, and they have Gant to run down. Williams sends him right back to Bell, who tags him out, pull to first, and Bell throws it, and knocked down somehow, some way. That ball got a piece of Clayton diving back into the bag.
Oh, lucky break right there. Jay Bell makes a nice play to get the lead runner. Ronnie Gant trying to advance to third base on a ball hit pretty much right at him. Bell gets the ball, throws quickly to Matt Williams, who does the right thing, running back to the base he came from. Right here, this is a recipe for disaster. Fortunately, the ball hits Royce Clayton. It looks like it's underneath his body there. Travis tries to go down and pick the ball out of the dirt, but he has no chance to get to it because the ball hits the runner sliding back in the bag, and fortunately for the Diamondbacks, it stays right there at the bag.
Clayton with 15 stolen bases, and they'll keep an eye on him. Tom Pagnazzi, a .233 batter with a home run and 6 runs batted in. In the air, right center field coming in, and making the play is Brady to retire the side. 1 man left. We head for the bottom of the second of a scoreless game. Welcome back to Fox Sports Arizona, your region of Fox Sports Net, and our coverage of Diamondbacks baseball. Baseball Thursday here on Fox Sports Net. It'll be the Mariners and the Angels, and that one coming your way Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Lou Piniella and the Mariners, losers again last night, and they are now 11 games back of Texas. Hard to believe. And Anaheim, as we told you, charging hard. Matt Williams, 3 hits in the game last night, including a double and a home run, knocked in a run. Check swing, and he went around the strike. Oh, and 2.
Boy, Matt Williams is really in a funk right now, chasing those bad breaking balls outside of the strike zone. He used to do this earlier in his career. He'd go through a week or 2 stretch where he would chase every breaking ball the opposing team would throw to him with very little success. Then he'd go 2 or 3 weeks laying off that pitch. There it is again. Now he's just shaking his head. He knows he's making a mistake. He knows he's chasing a bad pitch, swinging at the motion more than seeing the ball and reacting to the pitch. I mean, this is not a pitch you can even handle. This ball's several inches off the outside corner, breaking down and away. Pagnazzi went down to a knee to block the ball. But when you're not seeing the ball well at the plate, you end up swinging at a lot of pitches like that.
So now it'll be David DeLucci, a .306 hitter, 4 home runs, 24 batted in for the rookie. And a cue shot over to Brent Brady, and he flips it into the seats. Diamondbacks have a chance to make this a .500 homestand with a win here today. A ball to strike. Went 1 and 2 during the Anaheim visit. Split the first 2 games here against St. Louis. And the Diamondbacks playing their best baseball of the season right now. They've gone 8 and 8 in their last 16 games. After starting 4 and 11. And over the last month, they're only 1 game under .500.
Well, they're learning how to win ball games. They're doing a lot of things well. Advancing runners when they get them on base. Petkovsek with another strikeout here. The Diamondbacks are learning how to win baseball games. They're going to lose their share of games. They've had some ugly blowouts in recent past, but they're also learning how to go about winning ball games.
Well, they are giving away Beanie Babies here today. I have never seen one of these things. I've heard a lot about them. And now that I take a look at them, yeah, what exactly is the rage? I mean, you know, all of a sudden this was put next to me, and I'm thinking, what in the world is this? And this is hissy right here.
Probably 12,000 kids outside the stadium right now that would fist fight you for that thing. I can't figure it out myself, but there's no doubt the novelty of the moment.
Into right center field, and Brady on his way to second base. He's making a turn. Slams on the brakes. Brady thought about going for 3. He already has 3 triples on the year.
With a drive to the gap in right center. You see he's got his knock socks on today. He's got those pants hiked up high, showing a lot of purple. Ball hit into the gap in right center. With 2 outs in the inning, you better make sure you can make it to third base standing up. You never want to make the first or last out of the inning at third base. He's already in scoring position at second base. Just drop anchor right there.
Strike 1 to Kelly Stinnett. No score, runner at second base, 2 away here in the second inning. And a ground ball down to Gaeta. Hitting over. 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the third. Still no score. The Diamondbacks on Fox Sports Arizona, brought to you by your Greater Phoenix Ford dealers, where you can find 5 of the top 10 selling vehicles in America. By America West Airlines, the official airline of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. Bobby, this Beanie Baby's name is Hissy, born on April the 4th, 97. Says, curled and coiled and ready to play, he waits for you patiently every day. He'll keep his best friend, but not his skin, and stay with you through thick and thin.
Oh,
it's very nice.
That is nice.
What is your Beanie Baby's name?
Hissy. They're all Hissy.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
I thought yours said Missy.
No, it says Hissy. Yeah, it's the same quote inside here.
It is? Okay.
Same birth date.
These things are big, huh?
Yeah, apparently so. I don't know. We had bean bags when I was a kid, but they were literally that, a bag full of beans. We used to throw them at each other. These things, you got to put them on a shelf in a glass container so that they're valuable years from now.
Really?
Yeah.
They expect them to be? Is that the deal?
Well, I guess so. I guess there's a Princess Di Beanie Baby that's worth like $4,500. We're in the wrong business.
1 away.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, we should go to summer camp, make bean bags, and throw them at each other.
Well, now wait a minute. That's Hissy, but is the name Ty or is it Hissy?
Well, the name is Hissy.
Well, what is Ty on there for then? I mean, what is that?
It's a good question. That may be perhaps the company that makes them. I think it might be the company that makes them.
All right. Well, if the Diamondbacks win today, we're going to keep Hissy right here.
Well, you know they had Beanie Bag Day or Beanie Babies, whatever they're called, in Chicago.
Yeah.
Honoring Harry Carey.
Right.
They had a black and white cow, a holy cow that they passed out to the fans.
So our Beanie Babies, are all of them, do they come like in different animals or reptiles,
right,
animal kingdom?
Right.
I actually thought, like I said, I'd never seen one as Bell throws out McGee. I just assumed when you hear Beanie Baby that it was like, you know, like a stuffed baby doll. Kids still have baby dolls or dolls?
Young kids do, yeah. Sure. Yeah, but the big difference is, and I was talking to somebody about this earlier, you know, when we were kids, we got a toy. We played with it until we lost it or broke it.
Right.
Now you get a toy and you put it up on the shelf for future investment.
Well,
just like baseball cards. You know, you had a double, you stuck it in your bike spokes, made a motorcycle out of your bike. Now you put it in a little plastic case, get it autographed, and put it on the shelf and look at it once a year. Used to swap those baseball cards. Oh man.
oh yeah.
Used to always find that one sap in the neighborhood that really didn't know baseball that well. But he still had a shoebox full of cards. Boy, you could talk him out of anything.
Sap?
A sap. Yeah, I'll give you a Chico Simone and a Vic Davalillo for that Mickey Mantle card. You'll give me 2 cards for this one? Yeah, you believe that?
2-2 on Delino DeShields. He tripled to right center field in the first inning. That was the inning when Mark McGuire came up into Shields at third and only 1 out. Willie Blair struck out Big Mac and got Jordan on a ground ball to Jay Bell to get out of the inning. 3-2 on Delino. And Delino DeShields hits the ball to the center fielder. And off we go to the bottom of the third. Still no score. No score, and we bring you today's classic quote by Chevrolet. And the Babe once said this, Robert.
All I can tell them is pick a good one and sock it. You hear guys talk about that all the time. Mark McGuire, Matt Williams. Just look for the ball and hit it. See it and hit it. Keep it simple. They use that same theory. Pick a good one and sock it.
Well, those two guys only combined to hit more than 1,000 home runs, so I think they know what they're talking about. Kareem Garcia to lead things off, and a little roller up the first base line. Petkovsek quickly gets off the mound and throws out Garcia. And we told you that there have been 7 home runs hit in this series. In the 5 games between the two teams, they've combined to hit 21 home runs. And yet no score here today. Last of the third.
Well, this would qualify as a pitcher's duel between these two teams, going 3 innings with no score.
Diamondbacks 7-4 winners yesterday. St. Louis took the opener 9-4. 0-1 to Willie Blair, who was knocked around his last start against Anaheim. Had a very good road trip for the Diamondbacks, including that brilliant game he pitched in Colorado. When Greg Olson gave up the 2-run home run to Vinny Castilla in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Colorado won it 3-2. A ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Willie Blair pitched an outstanding ball game that night. I'll tell you, he was going through that Rockies order, hitting spots, changing speeds well. Had the Rockies hitters way out in front, way behind. He deserved a better fate in that game.
The 1-2 to Blair. Struck him out swinging. 3rd of the ball game for the Cardinal right-hander.
Willie Blair falling deeper and deeper into secret agenthood.
It's not where you want to be.
No. 067 before that at bat. He's probably down in the low 060s, maybe the high 050s. Don't want to get down to that double knot secret agent.
No. Well, we've talked about it over the last couple of weeks. Andy Fox, what he does here at Bank One Ballpark as opposed to on the road. And it continues to be a rather large margin of success and failure.
Well, this is Andy Fox's first year in the National League, his first opportunity seeing the new ballparks, getting used to the surroundings of the league. Obviously, he feels very comfortable here at home, but still has something to learn about some of the parks on the road and the pitchers he'll be facing in those parks.
1-2 on Andy Fox. Right off the end of the bat, foul, third base side. Count will stay right there. Of course, Andy led off the ball game on Friday night with a home run here at Bank One Ballpark. First time a Diamondback has done that. Devon White has a couple of times, but they came on the road. Inning over. 1-2-3 for Petkovsek. He has 4 strikeouts. Greg Schulte over in a moment. And the 3-0 score.
Well, we're scoreless through 3 innings here at Bank One Ballpark. The Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals, along with Bob Brentley. I'm Greg Schulte. Good pitchers duel so far, but that big guy's coming up.
The big guy's leading off the inning, and we all know what he can do because last Friday he launched one into orbit with the bases loaded. 438-foot blast deep into the bleachers in left field. This is exactly where you want Mark McGwire, though. You got to pitch to the guy. You want him up there with nobody on base. Try to limit the amount of damage he can do.
So McGwire will come up here. He struck out his first time up, and that was a key situation. Delino DeShields had tripled with 1 man out. You can see Mark McGwire has not had much success against Willie Blair throughout his career. Only 1 for 11. Hello, Rene Latchman, Cardinal third base coach.
That's why Latch takes his position about 50 feet wide and 100 feet behind that coach's box.
Yes.
Look where Rene Latchman is, way back there.
And you can't blame him. McGwire fouls one at the plate. Now he's behind the count 1-2 here. Another huge crowd on hand here at the ballpark. The guy up at the plate responsible for a lot of those people being here, but of course we pack a bit anyway at Bank One Ballpark in this first season. Of course, the Beanie Babies probably had a little something to do with that today, too. Oh, hissy. Let's see what Blair does on the 1-2 pitch here. Ooh, good pitch. Wire didn't offer. Missed the corner. Now it's 2-2.
Didn't miss by very much. That was a good pitch by Willie Blair. Last time on the 1-2 count, he got him to chase a slider down low and away. This time came with the fastball down low and away.
And he got him again. McGwire down on strikes. Well, they applaud him when he hits the long ball, but the Diamondback fans cheer when they get him out. Well, they should.
There's that slider down low and away again. You can see Stinnett off the outside corner. The pitch down the dirt, very similar to the pitch that Matt Williams chased against Mark Petkovsek.
So 1 out here on the 4th. 6 in a row set down by Blair, and here's Brian Jordan. And he hits one to third. Williams been busy today, and he throws across, and Travis Lee with some good footwork at first base. Takes the throw, and there are 2 up, 2 down here in the Cardinal 4th.
Well, it's hard to figure sometimes. You mentioned Mark McGwire's had a lot of problems with Willie Blair throughout his career, and to be honest, Willie Blair's not a Cy Young winner. He's just got very average stuff. If he hits his spots, he can be a very effective pitcher, but Mark McGwire has no clue against him. And sometimes you just don't. You don't pick up the ball well out of his hand. You don't see the rotation on the pitch well. For whatever reason, Willie Blair has got Mark McGwire's number.
Gary Gaetti, the batter, he takes ball 1. And, you know, on the other hand, and I know we've talked about this when we've seen Atlanta play and when we've seen San Diego play. Tony Gwynn's a great hitter. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Gaetti pops one up. We'll talk about that next time. Back here. Fox calling for it in right field, and he's got it. Now to retire the side. 1-2-3 inning for Willie Blair. We're through 3.5 here at Bank One Ballpark. Cardinals and Diamondbacks scoreless. tonight at 10. It's Fox Sports Primetime. All the scores, all the stories, all the action from your hometown teams 7 nights a week. Coming up tonight on Fox Sports Arizona, your region of Fox Sports Net. And back with Bob Brentley, Greg Schulman. We go to the bottom of the 4th in a pitcher's duel here on this getaway day for the Cardinals and actually the Diamondbacks. Scoreless, each team with a hit. Jay Bell, Travis Lee, and Matt Williams here for the Diamondbacks against Petkovsek, who has struck out 4, given up only 1 hit. He has walked a man. Bell broke the bat.
And Brian Butterfield made a nice play. A one-hander down there, flips it into the stands. Getting another weapon. You started to tell a story about Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, I did. And Tony Gwynn is a great hitter, as we know. Greg Maddux, one of the best here in the 90s. And Gwynn owns Greg Maddux. Now, there's a case of great hitter, great pitcher, but at the same time, I mean, it seems like every time Gwynn comes up against Maddux, he's got 3 or 4 hits. Bell hits another foul.
Well, you're right. Gwynn's got a lot of hits against all active pitchers, but the most are against Greg Maddux. That really is amazing. In my playing days, Rick Russell, in his days as a Pittsburgh Pirate, for some reason, no matter what pitch he threw, they all looked like a fastball to me. Everything looked like it was spinning like a fastball.
Ground to the 3rd, Gaetti will throw out Bell, and there's 1 out here in the 4th inning. So 1 up, 1 down for Travis Lee, who had a huge day here yesterday. Travis grounded to second his first time up. It was electrifying here yesterday, Bob, when he hit the first home run and then the second home run. The curtain call, one of many I'm sure he'll have throughout his career as a Diamondback.
Absolutely.
Off the glove of Clayton. And Lee rounds first to stop there. And that's a base hit for Travis Lee. Well, we look at Travis Lee and what's on tap. Brought to you by Miller Lite and Travis Lee. 8 RBIs ahead of Brad Fulmer. Todd Helton, Derek Lee, Mark Petkovsek. Interesting, Bob, 4 of the top 5 there. The 4 are all first basemen.
Rookie first baseman. It's been a banner year. A couple years ago, it was shortstops, Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter, Ray Ordonez, all came up at the same time. It was a banner year for shortstops then, banner year for rookie first baseman this year.
Matt Williams takes the first one inside. Matt had a big day yesterday. He was 3 for 5. He's had a big season here at Bank One Ballpark. He's hitting .302, .305 in his home games with 6 home runs. A little different look here at the ballpark today with the panels open. We'll see if the ball flies any differently as this one goes on. If anybody puts one up in that area, swing and a miss here, 1-1.
It's always interesting in an enclosed ballpark when you do have wind coming in from somewhere.
Yeah.
It gets in here and circles around. You may think, well, the wind would be blowing in because the windows are out in the outfield and the air coming through the windows is blowing in towards home plate. But once it gets inside the stadium, it circles around and there are jet streams going in different directions. So we'll have to see how it plays as the game goes on.
Travis Lee held on by Mark McG over at first. And they're chuckling about something. Swing and a miss by Williams, who struck out his first time, and he's down to the count here, 1-2. Well, the Diamondbacks and Cardinals have combined to hit 21 home runs in their 5 games so far this season, including 7 in the first 2 games here at Bank One.
That's a pair to draw to right there.
You got that right. 44 homers between them, 31 by McGuire and 13 by Lee. About Inside to Matt Williams, 2-2. Cardinals go on to Houston. Diamondbacks travel tomorrow to Cincinnati to play 3 against the Reds next weekend in St. Louis. And then we'll conclude the trip with a pair of interleague games against the Rangers, who then travel back with the Diamondbacks, not on the same plane, but to play here at Bank One Ballpark. Double play ball to third, out at second, and out at first. Second time the Cardinals have gone around the horn 5-4-3, and we're through 4 innings here at Bank One Ballpark in Phoenix. No score. Pickup of the game is brought to you by Hoover. Matt Williams. An inning-to-inning ground ball, double play ball to third baseman Gary Gaetti.
Got another breaking ball from Petkovsek, hit it off the end of the bat. A 2-hopper right to the rat. That's what they call Gary Gaetti. Nice turn at second by Delino DeShields, just getting Matt Williams hustling down that first baseline.
So Williams 0 for 2 today. And the Cardinals come up here in the 5th. Gant, Clayton, and Pagnazzi against Willie Blair. The hit totals, as you can see, Cardinals with 1 safety. That was a 1-out triple in the first inning by DeShields. The Diamondbacks have 2 hits. Gant walked his first time up, takes a strike, and we're underway here in the 5th. Gant's been bothered with hamstring problems. Inside. Gant hit a couple of long home runs here in batting practice himself, but they kind of failed compared to McGuire.
Yeah, they only went about 450.
2-1 now. 2-1.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. He was hitting the top of the front row restaurant out there, landing him way up on that 3rd deck where the people are standing watching the game. Just amazing.
There's a check swing grounder to third. Williams got to hurry. His throw across, and he gets Gant. And there's 1 away here in the 5th. 4 assists already in the ball game for Matt Williams.
That's a good sign for Willie Blair. We talked about him throwing that sinker. If he keeps the ball down low in the zone, he should get a lot of ground balls. Keep his infielders busy behind him. And that's usually when Willie Blair has been at his best.
7 ground ball outs in this game for Blair. Of the 13 men he has set down, he's got 2 strikeouts. And here's Clayton. Clayton's had quite a series so far, 0 for 1 in the ball game today. He's had troubles against Willie Blair in his career, 3 for 15. He's got a hit here. Center field. Garcia hustling to the ball. And Clayton, a base running threat, is on with the Cardinals' 2nd hit of the game. Tom Pagnazzi will step in. Clayton had a steal yesterday. He was picked off in the 2nd inning by Brian Anderson at second base, but then stole a base in the 8th inning.
Well, Clayton is on his way to becoming a very good base stealer. You see him taking a peek in there at home plate, trying to see if he can steal some signs from the catcher, Kelly Stinnett.
There he goes. The pitch low, and there will be no play. A stolen base. Picked a good pitch to go on.
That's why a base runner tries to get out there and get a peek if possible. If they can steal a sign from the catcher and see that an off-speed pitch is coming, that's a much better pitch to try to steal on. Clayton gets a very good jump at first base. No peek back to home plate. That indicates it was just a straight steal, and gets himself into scoring position with 1 out.
Second swipe of the day for the Cardinals, giving them 51 on the year now. And Pagnazzi with a 1-out RBI opportunity, trying to get the Cardinals on top here in the 5th inning. High drive, deep left center field. Way back goes Garcia, and he makes the catch on the warning track. Here comes the throw to third. Clayton goes in there and just made it. What a throw by Garcia. Well, he displayed his arm right there.
Well, he had no reason to hit a cutoff man on that play. You just try to throw it as hard as you can, as far as you can towards your target. There's no runner behind Royce Clayton that you have to worry about advancing, and Matt Williams tried to decoy Clayton into thinking there was no play at third base. Just stood there kind of with his hands on his hips. The last second, stuck the glove up there, caught the throw from Garcia, and tried to apply a tag.
Wow, what a throw. Here is Petkovsek. He grounded to short his first time up. Second time today, the Cardinals have had a man at third base. They had a man at third with 1 out in the first, but Blair struck out McGuire and got Jordan on a ground ball. Now the runner's at third with 2 outs. And I'll be darned. Base hit. Petkovsek gives the Cardinals a lead. Right up the middle. Clayton scores 1-0 St. Louis.
Well, Petkovsek is no pushover up there at the plate. Tony La Russa has used him as a pinch hitter a couple times throughout his career. A .286 hitter coming into play today. And we'll see why. He gets a high fastball, just tomahawks it into center field right by Willie Blair.
Now Willie McGee will step in. McGee 0 for 2 with a couple of ground ball outs in this game. Outside, ball 1. I wonder if we'll get any of Willie's cookies next weekend.
He brought some up to the booth last time we were there.
They weren't bad. 2-0 the count.
Don't quit your day job, Willie.
Yeah. Willie McGee, now 39 years old. He's out of the Bay Area. Up the middle, and Willie Blair has that knack of finding a baseball. Throws out McGee, and that'll end the inning. But the RBI by Petkovsek scores Clayton. And we're through 4 1/2. 1-0 St. Louis. The fifth, Cardinals on top of the Diamondbacks 1-0. What's on tap brought to you by Miller Lite. Fox Sports Arizona and Miller Lite brings you the Circle K strikeout sweepstakes. This month the Diamondbacks have recorded 73 strikeouts. Visit the Miller display at your nearest Circle K against the amount of strikeouts by Diamondback pitchers. In the month of June, the prize is a pool party for 20 at Sun Pools Party Pavilion. 2 strikeouts today on the old strikeout meter. DeLucci, Brady, and Stinnett, a couple of left-handed batters, and then a right-handed swinger against Petkovsek, who has staked his club to a 1-0 lead. And he was ready to work. And the umpire wasn't ready to have the pitch delivered yet.
I'm not sure the reason for the delay there. It appears everybody's ready to go except for the home plate umpire Steve Ripley and the catcher Tom Pagnozzi. Those are 2 important guys.
Yeah, very much so. And they're still having a little conversation back there. DeLucci during June is hitting .354 with a homer and 8 runs batted in. Strikeout victim his first time up, and he swings through 1 here. He quietly has just gone about his business. When you talk about rookies, his name's starting to pop up a little bit now. He sends one to first. McGuire boots, picks it up, and to the bag, and there's 1 out here in the Diamondback fifth.
You know, a lot of times you'll see that happen where a team will have a guy like a McGuire, for example. He gets all the notoriety when the Cardinals come to town. That allows the rest of the players to come to the ballpark, get their work in, take their extra batting practice, and go about their daily routine relatively unscathed, because everybody wants a piece of Mark McGuire. Same thing with the Diamondbacks. David DeLucci having a great year, but everybody wants to talk to Travis Lee. So David can just come to the ballpark, get himself ready to play, and go about his business.
He's not too happy with that last at bat. Brady is the batter. He has one of the 2 Diamondback hits in the game. Double to right center his last time up with 2 outs in the second inning. And he takes one outside, ball 1. Well, when Kareem Garcia was recalled from Tucson, Brady's starts in right field have been at a minimum. But he's in the lineup today as Devon White still nursing that strained right wrist. And not too often you see 3 left-handed throwing outfielders in there at one time and 3 left-handed hitting outfielders, but that's what the Diamondbacks employ here in the game today. Pagnozzi going to go to the mound here on this
Not sure exactly what's going on this inning. Some kind of miscommunication between the two. Every pitch that's been thrown has been a delay. Tony La Russa a couple steps up out of the first base dugout to make sure everything's okay with his pitcher. Petkovsek taking a lot of time between pitches this inning. Normally a very quick worker. In general, that indicates there's something wrong. The guy's taking a lot more time between pitches.
I think Petkovsek has requested a Beanie Baby, and he hasn't gotten one yet.
And he's obviously upset. Now the trainer's going to come out.
Yeah, he threw that last pitch, and he motioned to the dugout. I better have some attention out here.
Well, this is not good for Tony La Russa and the Cardinals. We mentioned earlier in the ballgame their starting rotation is very thin already. Petkovsek, normally a reliever, pressed into duty.
Merker went down the other night, although they're hoping he'll be able to start Thursday. You see the Cardinal bullpen. It's not up yet. And if Petkovsek should leave, we'll have another situation like we did the other night, where the pitcher who comes in would be granted as many pitches as possible. Now, yesterday, the Cardinals used Kraus-Shore 3 innings. They pitched King, Frascatore, Painter, and Brantley. So they used just about everybody out of that pen.
Barry Weinberg, the trainer, is out there having a word with Petkovsek. I think they're going to let him throw a couple pitches. This was the last pitch to Brent Brady. Nothing really unusual, but right here you can see he makes a motion towards the dugout that perhaps he's had enough.
He's taking a couple of tosses right now. Juan Acevedo is expected to start their game Tuesday, and then they go back to Stottlemyre. They have another youngster by the name of Manny Ibar who could possibly pitch. He did not pitch. In fact, has not pitched in this series. And Sean Lowe, who played collegiately at Arizona State, is another pitcher that we have not seen yet. So La Russa and Weinberg leave, and Petkovsek for now is going to stay in.
Well, there's some speculation that perhaps he injured himself swinging and missing at a pitch back in the 5th inning before getting the base hit up the middle.
Brady reaches out and fouls it back, and the count says 2-2. Cardinals got their run at the top of the 5th. Clayton single, stole second, took third on a fly ball out, and then came in to score on a 2-out single by the pitcher Petkovsek. And that's been the scoring in this game. Swing and a miss, and Petkovsek brings up his 5th Diamondback. 2 up, 2 down to the 5th.
You look at strike 3 here to Brent Brady. Tremendous movement on that sinking fastball. Well, the speculation is that perhaps he injured a groin or a leg muscle somehow swinging at a pitch back in the 5th inning. And the problem you run into now is Petkovsek may change his delivery to protect that injury and end up hurting his arm.
Stinnett takes one outside. A lot of pitchers, good pitchers, Bob, have hurt their careers by having that happen.
Well, you try to protect one injury, you cause another one, and then try to come back too soon and protect the second injury, and you end up with a third one. It seems to work its way around your body.
Ball and a strike on Stinnett. Petkovsek, a Texas Longhorn. Stinnett grounded to third his first time up today, and he did not chase it. 2-1. Garcia's on deck. Mark Petkovsek. Look at that lady clapping. She's into it. Let's get a hit. Gonna go foul down the line and left.
I don't know about you, Greg, but I've been pretty impressed by the fans here at Bob. You know, a lot of people came out for the novelty of the ballpark and for this series to see Mark McGwire hit home runs, but I mean, when the game's on the line, they seem to sense that this is the turning moment in the game, and they get into it, and they cheer at the right times, they boo at the right times. I think baseball fans here in the Valley ought to be very proud of themselves. They jumped right into the fire.
You betcha. 3-2 now on Stinnett. Yeah, they've enjoyed it. Like we said, they enjoy when they see McGuire hit a long blast, but when he strikes out or makes it out, they applaud that, realizing they got a great hitter out. Stinnett draws a walk. Second given up by Petkovsek. One thing they haven't got down yet, they do the wave when the Diamondback hitters are up to the plate. They need to do that when the Cardinal hitters are up, but they'll get that.
I think they got to do the wave like on their way into the ballpark.
I thought the wave actually went out about 4 or 5 years ago, to be honest with you.
There's creative ways to do that. You know, some people believe that the wave started at Tiger Stadium in Detroit. I'm not sure. I think San Diego claims it as well, but I saw the '84 World Series at Tiger Stadium, and they were very creative in their use of the wave. They would start in the center field bleachers and send it both directions at the same time. It would cross at home plate and then come back around to center field.
Well, nice. That takes work.
Yeah,
that takes work.
Right, nice illusion.
Well, here's Kareem Garcia. He'd like to touch one off here, bring this crowd to its feet. And he chumps one foul. Ball on the strike.
The fans in the center field bleachers there also would all stand up in unison and give like the traveling sign in the NBA where the referee circles his hands around. And when you have a whole section of 10,000 people doing that at once, it'll make you dizzy if you're standing in a batter's box.
That's hit foul by Garcia, and the count is 1-2. Kareem hitting 180 coming into action today. He's hit 4 over the boards and driven in 10. He's got a man on at first. That's Stinnett, held on by McGuire. He walked with 2 outs. Inside and tight. And now it's 2-2.
Garcia's hit in 8 of the 11 games since his recall from Tucson. However, he only has 9 base hits. He's just getting that 1 a game. I'd like to see him bunch him up, get 2 or 3 hits in 1 ball game, and really take off.
The runner goes, and the ball is hit to first. McGuire's got it, and that'll retire the side. Needed a little further towards second base to get it through, but that'll end the inning. Diamondbacks strand a man and through 5. Phoenix 1-0 St. Louis. The Diamondbacks on Fox Sports Arizona, brought to you by The Room Store, where we put it all together to save you more at The Room Store. By Genuine Chevrolet, the cars more Americans trust. And by Sprint PCS, experience a clear alternative to cellular today. Frank Schulte and Bob Brentley back here at Bank One Ballpark. All the fans, those coming from St. Louis to watch Big Mac. Might be a little easier. Well, it's a tough ticket to get here, but I know it's a tough ticket to get in St. Louis, especially with school out nowadays at Busch Stadium. McGuire will bat in this inning. He will bat second behind the Shields, who leads it off.
We'll just follow the Cardinals to Montreal. There's always plenty of tickets left at Olympic Stadium.
That's right. They were drawing in the mid-teens with the Yankees in town in Montreal. Shields shortens to bunt, draws the bat back, and the pitch is outside. Ball 1, and we're underway here in the 6th.
Well, all they know about the Yankees up there is they come from the same town as the Rangers.
2-0 the count. Saw a story where the Phillies were in Montreal, and they had some kind of, I don't know what, a group was out at the hotel where the Phillies were staying. I don't know if they stayed at the same hotel we were. They were blocking the entrance and the exit to the hotel in some kind of a protest, and the Phillies were like an hour late getting to the ballpark that particular game. And it was nothing against the Phillies. It was just something else they were protesting. 2-2 the count here on the Shields.
Maybe they were protesting.
Well, maybe they were. That's right. You never know. Outside corner, got him. The Shields caught looking, and Blair has his 3rd strikeout. And he's also struck out Mark McGuire. Here's the Discover Card payback playback.
Slider the first time around, down and away. 4th inning. Slider down and away again. The question is, how many times can you keep going back to that pitch?
Yeah.
One school of thought is you keep throwing it until he proves he can hit it. And the other school of thought is he may come up there looking for it this at bat, so you try to jam him up inside.
Blair has one strike. That sign isn't up high enough.
Wow, he hit one over that sign. You see those yellow umbrellas in the background. He hit that first umbrella on the right in batting practice.
That was smart, getting a foul ball from McGuire off the mask, as Kelly Stinnett did.
Well, it doesn't hurt as bad if you're sitting behind him. I wouldn't want to be sitting in front of him and let him foul one off the mask. Catches Kelly on the left temple there. Ricochets over to the third base side. It appears none the worse for wear.
Those catchers are tough, though, Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. 1-2 now.
Willie Blair tried to drop down a little bit that time. Normally a high 3/4 pitcher. That time dropped down almost to sidearm. Tried to get that breaking ball to sweep across the plate.
1-2 coming here to McGuire. And he just got a piece of it. He stays alive. Why is a guy like Willie Blair got a guy like McGuire's number? I mean, McGuire now is 1 for 12 against Blair, and he struck out his last 4 times he's faced him.
Usually you just, I say it again, it sounds like I'm repeating myself. He's just not seeing the ball well. He's not picking up the rotation on the pitches. He's way out in front of the breaking balls from Willie Blair. Chasing pitches out of the zone consistently.
2-2 now.
And Blair has thrown him just enough fastballs to plant that seed in McGuire's mind. He doesn't want to let a fastball go by. He's constantly sitting on that pitch. And Willie just hasn't thrown many, and when he has, he's put him in good spots. There's a straight changeup in the dirt, tried to get into chase.
Now it's 3-2. Now McGuire's gotten a little bit more even here. 1 out in the 6th. Nobody on. McGuire at the plate. If you're a Diamondback fan, that's how you like to see him, with nobody on base. Payoff pitch. And he walked it. A little reaction here at the park.
They don't want to see a walk. They don't want to see a single or a double. It's either a home run or a strikeout. None of that stuff in between.
Now, McGuire's seen a lot of walks this year. That's his 71st time he has drawn the free pass. And the Cardinals have a man on here with 1 out. And Brian Jordan is the batter. Chopper foul. This guy's having very quietly, because of all the attention, Bob, and you talked about it. McGuire gets all the attention from everybody wherever he goes, but the guy batting right now, Brian Jordan, has put together a very, very solid year.
Well, he just keeps getting better and better since devoting full time to baseball, giving up the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons. He just continues to develop every year into a better and better hitter, more aware in the outfield what he's doing defensively, a better base runner.
1-1 now.
I know a lot of people would have liked to have seen the same thing from Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Sanders playing both sports for several years, decided to give up baseball, but a lot of baseball people, myself included, feel that if Deion Sanders would have stuck solely to baseball, he would have become one of the best leadoff hitters in the game. He was, I'd say, a tremendous hard worker, the fastest runner I've ever seen on a baseball field. And his skills were starting to develop. But every year he'd go back and go to training camp, get banged around a little bit. Jordan decided he didn't want anything to do with those shoulder pads anymore. He likes baseball.
And he's done a good job with the bat and a good job with the glove. He's made some good catches in this 3-game series. Oh, got him. Blair dipped down a little bit, and Jordan couldn't pull the trigger. And strikeout number 4 for Blair. 2 outs now for Gaetti.
Well, Blair tried to do this to Mark McGuire with a breaking ball. This time he drops down to Brian Jordan with a fastball that tails right back in on the hands. Kelly Stinnett holds that ball right on the inside corner, and they get the call from home plate umpire Steve Ripley.
Willie Blair Has been tough here today. Now Gaetti at the plate. Outside, ball 1. Blair's had a couple of no decisions his last 2 times out. Gaetti takes it outside 2-0. His last win came against the Dodgers on May 24th. Lost to the Giants 3-1. No decision in that 3-2 Colorado win on that Castilla 2-run homer in the 9th. And then no decision on the 9th of this month against Anaheim. There's a foul at the plate by Gaetti, and it's 2-1 now. Kent Bottenfield, who has gotten some starting assignments with the Cardinals. Bob has mentioned how the Cardinal starting unit has really been depleted with injuries, and Bottenfield, normally a reliever, has gotten some starts for Tony La Russa.
They've had 10 different pitchers start ball games already this season for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Gaetti cracks one to left down the line. That'll get into the corner. We'll see how the left fielder DeLucci plays it. He gets it back in. McGuire will hold it third on a double by Gaetti. You have to be careful when that ball goes down in the corner. It can ricochet around out there, and DeLucci was able to get over and track it down in time to hold McGuire to third.
Unfortunately, Gaetti does not get this ball up in the air. That ball was toasted to left field. A line drive, a rocket. One hop off the bullpen fence. DeLucci plays the carom, gets it back in quickly to Jay Bell to hold Mark McGuire at third base.
Now be careful here with Ron Gann at the plate. Gann has walked and grounded out. Blair's going to work off the stretch. Down the line and left, and that is a foul ball. Foul ball.
Not by much.
In fact, Gant stood at home plate watching the baseball and then said, I'd better run. This might go fair.
It hit on the dirt area over there. Gant got a breaking ball that hung up on the inside part of the plate. I was surprised he was able to keep it that close to the foul line down third base. Usually that's a pitch you hook foul way up into the bleachers.
Gant with runners in scoring position, only 7 for 41, but he has tagged 3 home runs. Swing and a miss, and again Blair dipped down a little bit. 0-2.
And Blair's dropping down not only on the breaking ball but on the fastball as well. Some pitchers will drop down, throw that Laredo sidearm pitch, and they'll only throw the breaking ball. Well, after a while the word gets around the league that every time you see him drop down he's going to throw a breaking ball, and batters start to hit it. But Willie Blair throwing fastballs and sliders from that sidearm position.
McGuire's at third. The runner there at the bottom of the screen is Gaetti. He's at second. And a nice play by Stinnett at home plate. 1-2 now.
It happens so often you just kind of take it for granted. And what a great feeling that is for the Diamondbacks pitchers to know they can make that good pitch on an 0-2 count. Go ahead and bounce that breaking ball. Try to get the batter to chase it because you know your catcher's going to block it and keep it in front.
And Kelly's not afraid to get down and dirty. I mean, his uniform usually game in and game out is just filthy. Ooh, that one just missed inside. 2-2. And 4 different seasons as we look at McGuire at third. And Gaetti at second. 2 outs in the inning. 4 different seasons. He's hit 30 or more home runs. A tapper to third. Williams comes in, has it, throws across, got it. And the Cardinals strand 2. So the double with 2 outs did not hurt. We go to the bottom of the 6th. 1-0 St. Louis. Welcome back to Fox Sports Arizona, your region of Fox Sports Net and our coverage of Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. Join Fox Sports Arizona throughout June for Diamondbacks Poolside, the monthly magazine show of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Barry Butel will be poolside as he reviews and previews the Diamondbacks each month. Diamondbacks Poolside on Fox Sports Arizona. Well, the Cardinals have a new left fielder. It's John Mabry, who replaces Ron Gant. And he'll be inserted into the pitcher's slot in the batting order because the Cardinals also have a new pitcher, and that is Kent Bottenfield, who is working here too. Willie Blair to lead off. And Blair 0-1 on the count.
You look at Bottenfield's numbers on the season, the high ERA. He's been a much more effective pitcher at home this year. His ERA on the road is almost 9.
Blair a check swing. And a ball and a strike. Blair leading off here on the bottom of the 6th. 1-0 St. Louis. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Petkovsek had some good numbers while he was in there. 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and nothing else. He left the ball game, did something when he threw the baseball to Brady last inning pitching off the mound. Two here on Blair and 3-2 on Blair. Well, Cardinals have had problems with their bullpen. Blair stays alive on 3-2 here.
It all works hand in hand. You know, you have problems with your starting rotation. It forces a manager to get into that bullpen more often than he would like, earlier than he would like. Suddenly these guys are called upon to pitch 4 or 5 days a week.
Blair strikes out, and that's the way we start the 6th inning. Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Arizona Diamondbacks. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Arizona Diamondbacks and Fox Sports Net. He is ready, and so is that little guy. That guy's got the seeds. I wonder if he's sharing any with sister.
You better put that bag of seeds down and get his glove.
Andy Fox behind second. Shields is out. Shallow center. He's got it. And there are 2 quick outs here in the 6th inning. Well, the Diamondback bats not yet alive here today. And the batter will be Jay Bell, who's 0 for 2.
Many times on a Sunday day game, you will see a slow offensive ball game because teams don't usually take batting practice on Sunday mornings. But both teams went through a full workout today, came out and hit, took their ground balls, took infield practice. But once that game started, the offense went sluggish on both sides of the field.
Buck Showalter, Tony La Russa, 2 managers of their respective teams. Mile high pop-up. That going to get a girder? No, a little bit shy. Who's going to catch it? McGuire calls for it. He's got it. Tom Brenneman rejoins you in the 7th inning. I'm Greg Schulte. We have played 6 here in Phoenix. 1-0 St. Louis.
Back at Bank One Ballpark, Diamondbacks trailing the Cardinals 1-0. Willie Blair clearly has thrown a very good ball game, Bobby. He's only allowed 4 base hits, but the Diamondback hitters haven't shown a lot of patience that Buck Showalter talked about before the game today with Cardinal pitching.
Well, Petkovsek was throwing the ball very well early in the game, but the game plan against him was to be patient, work deep in the count. He has a tendency to walk some guys, put runners on base. You have a possibility for a big inning, but you know, drawing it up on the blackboard and going out there in the batter's box and making it come true are 2 different things.
Well, we'll see if the Diamondbacks can keep them right there. $50,009 here today. 13th sellout of the season for the Diamondbacks. As it's ball 1 high to Royce Clayton. Better than 1,400,000 fans have passed through the turnstiles already this young baseball season. We're only a third of the way through. And a 3-game series against the Cardinals. 144,507 in attendance. 3 straight sellouts. Second only, as far as a 3-game series is concerned, to the 3 games against the Dodgers. And you can understand that. In there a strike. 1-2. In fact, we were in Los Angeles yesterday. Was coming back upstairs from down on the field area, ran into a woman and noticed she had a Diamondback pin on her ball cap. She was talking about a big Dodger fan, and she was talking about being here at Bank One Ballpark for the 3-game series. Says she cannot wait to come back.
That's pretty much been the sentiment expressed everywhere we talk to people that have been to Bank One Ballpark. They can't wait to come back again. That's a fun time. Come on out.
Diamondbacks will be on the road. 3 in Cincinnati, 3 in St. Louis, 2 against Texas. Going to be a tough play for Williams. Bare hand throws, not going to be in time. Good effort, but Clayton runs far too well, and that's an infield hit to open the 7th inning.
Well, that's a do-or-die play. Matt Williams had backed up. Royce Clayton hits a little topper. This, in effect, is a bunt. You can see the great barehanded play. The off-balance throw pulls Travis off the bag. They weren't going to get Clayton anyway, but that's the only chance you have. You try to barehanded throw in one motion, hope to get the throw on line, and hope it's a slow runner, but not in Royce Clayton's case.
So now it's Tom Pagnozzi. See if he's up there to bunt. You may remember they made the double switch when Bottenfield took over for Petkovsek, and John Mabry came into the ball game to take over for Ron Gant. Mabry waits on deck.
Well, Pagnozzi's a guy that Tony La Russa and Whitey Herzog before Tony La Russa likes to use in hit-and-run situations. He handles the bat very well, makes contact. Usually can move the ball to the right side of the field. See Clayton peeking in there for signs again.
He does bunt up the first base line. Blair will scoop it up and tag him out. Second sacrifice of the season by Pagnozzi. And Clayton on to second base. So now it'll be Mabry. Stepping in from the left side, and you see his numbers on the season. Mabry will play a little bit of everywhere. Takes over for Gannon left, can play third, plays first, center or right. Just about anywhere. Ball 1 away. Cardinals a 1-0 lead here in the 7th. They have Clayton at second base with only 1 out. Breaking ball again down and away, 2-0.
Mabry's a good-looking hitter. I still think this guy's going to end up being a pretty good Major League Baseball player. His career numbers coming into the season, a .296 hitter. His first couple of years in the big leagues, although relatively short periods of time in the big leagues, he hit over 300. First full season, he hit .297 with 13 homers. Just hasn't really found a position where he can settle in on a daily basis and be the guy that is the right fielder or the left fielder or the third baseman. So Tony La Russa using him, taking advantage of his assets, which is his ability to play more than one position, swing that left-handed bat.
Clayton at second, and the 2-1 to Mabry is chopped foul wide of first. The count even now at 2-2. 1 run, 5 hits for the Cardinals, no runs and 2 hits for the Diamondbacks. In the air, left center field. DeLucci drifts over, makes a play, and Clayton's tagging. He's coming to third base, and he will make it easily. 2 away, and Clayton stands at third base.
A heads-up play by Royce Clayton, advancing to third base. He goes back and tags. The first couple steps, it looks like he's not sure if he's going to go or not. Sees the trajectory of the throw right out of the hand of David DeLucci. Thinks he can beat it, so he chugs on into third base. It's not usually a good sign when guys are tagging up going second to third on fly balls to left field. DeLucci did have to back up a couple steps on that ball, and that's what made Clayton's mind up to go ahead and try to advance.
So now it's Willie McGee. And a bouncing ball off the glove of Blair. Fox has to throw, and it's not going to be in time. Bad break there. Blair got a piece of it and slowed it down just enough. And McGee, an infield hit and an RBI, 2-0 St. Louis.
We've seen this happen a lot this year. Pitchers trying to make a play on a ball. It's just instinct. You see that ball coming back, you try to make a play, it tips off the end of the glove. Andy Fox was headed up the middle to cut the ground ball off. Has to change directions, come back, and too late to make the throw. And Royce Clayton's ability to tag up and go from second to third on the fly ball to left field gives the Cardinals another run.
Two down, and Shields a batter, and there's one knocked down again by Blair, and again it'll go as an infield hit.
Willie Blair must have a target on the front of that jersey, because he gets more balls hit back at him than any pitcher I know. Once again knocks it down. You can see Jay Bell was headed up the middle this time. Had to change directions, come back, no play anywhere.
All 3 Cardinal hits in the inning have been infield hits.
This is old-time Cardinals baseball. Forget Mark McGwire and the long home runs. Cardinals teams of the past, this is how they won ball games. Get a runner on base, steal a base, tag up, advance, score on an infield out.
Well, Amari Telemaco warming up in the bullpen. Telemaco will be available in the bullpen till Tuesday, and then that's it. He's going into the starting rotation with Bob Wolcott being sent back to the minor leagues. Telemaco will start against the Cardinals next Saturday in St. Louis. Well, our mobile on the run home run leaders, McGwire, right at the top of the list. Two on, 2 out. And McGwire waits. Swing and a miss. Blair has struck him out twice. And then walked him his last trip in the 6th inning. The 0-1 to Mark McGwire. And it's strike 2 on the outside corner. Blair has fanned McGwire 4 of the last 5 times the 2 have squared off.
He's got some pitches to play with right here. This is where you have to be careful, though. If you'd like to get McGwire to chase a pitch out of the strike zone, but be careful not to hang anything where he can get the bat on it.
0-2 pitch. Blown away.
With a temptation to bust him inside with a fastball has to be in the back of Willie Blair's mind. He's just thrown him a steady diet of breaking balls away. Had McGwire chasing him, chasing him, chasing him.
1-2. Came with a fastball and a drop down delivery. We've seen Blair use that 3 or 4 times in the game today. It stays at a ball and 2 strikes.
I think you can throw Mark McGwire fastballs, but I don't think you can throw him out over the plate and be steadily successful. I think you have to jam him in on the hands, preferably up above the belt, and then the soft stuff away that Willie Blair's been throwing him all day.
1-2 to Mark McGwire. And the pitch. Struck him out. 3rd time in the game today. But the Cardinals get a run on 3 infield hits. Middle of the seventh, Diamondbacks trail 2-0. 2-0 Cardinals over the Diamondbacks. Bottom of the seventh inning. Kent Bottenfield on relief of Mark Petkovsek. And now the pitch. Breaking ball down and into Travis, who is grounded to second base and singled into left center field. See what Travis has done in the series. Both home runs, all 5 runs batted in coming yesterday in that wild one here at Bank One Ballpark. Two and one. Matt Williams will follow, and then David DeLucci. Three balls and a strike.
Bottenfield doesn't really have any kind of a trick pitch, and none of the pitches that he throws are exceptional. Got a fastball in the upper 80s.
That one drilled into center field, and Lee has his second hit of the game. In fact, he has 2 of the 3 Diamondback hits.
Yesterday's ball game, Matt Williams in the 8th inning. It's a towering fly ball to left field. Right back to the wall and into the sunlight. And the light was shining on the Diamondbacks fans.
Yes, it was.
Even with the roof closed.
Well, let's hope it is again today. This time that light would be down the left field line a little bit more as you see the numbers Williams against Bottenfield. And there it is. I'm talking about the light on the stands. Forget about the one. We'll take the one on the field, I guess, down there in the corner too, right?
Take just about anything right now. Continue this inning.
In there, a strike. 1-1 to Williams, who has struck out swinging and bounced into an inning-ending double play in the 4th. Hit hard, but right at Gaetti trouble. This will be a double play. Second one Williams has bounced into today. And his 12th bounced into this year.
Well, you may have heard Mark McG earlier in the show talk about, as a hitter, you really can't control it. You just try to hit the ball hard somewhere. Unfortunately, this time for Matt Williams, he hits it right into Gary Gaetti's glove. Starts the 5-4-3 double play.
So now David DeLucci. Diamondbacks only trail 2-0 here in the 7th inning. And it's strike one to David, who has struck out and grounded to McGuire at first. Petkovsek came in with an earned run average of over 5.5. Bottenfield's ERA over 5. But they have stifled the Diamondback offense here today on just 3 hits. Right back to the mound. And the inning is over. A hit, nobody left. We go to the 8th. St. Louis in front, 2-0. The Diamondbacks on Fox Sports Arizona being brought to you by AirTouch. It could change your life. Call 1-800-AirTouch and by SRP. Delivering more than power. Here we go in the 8th inning. Diamondbacks trailing 2-0, and it's strike one to Brian Jordan, who will lead things off against Willie Blair. Cardinals got a single, a 2-out single by their starter Mark Petkovsek to drive in the first run of the game in the 5th. And then an infield hit, a bunt, a fly ball with Clayton advancing on to third, tagging up in the 7th inning, and an infield hit by Willie McGee brought him home.
Those St. Louis Cardinals teams of the early 80s. Willie McGee, his first go-around with the Cardinals. Ozzie Smith, Lonnie Smith,
Vince Coleman.
Where they had some jackrabbits. Best way to describe that team was a track team swinging badminton rackets. They couldn't bend the grass. Couldn't hit it hard enough to bend the grass. But once they got on base, forget about it. Steal second, steal third, score on a ground ball.
Yeah, really the only hammer they had in the middle of that lineup was Jack Clark. Little flare in the shallow center field. Boy, they're dinking and dunking all over the place today. And as you said the other day, make no mistake, this is not your father's Cardinals team. This team is packed with a lot of beef and a lot of thunder, but a lot of dinking and dunking, as I mentioned a moment ago here today.
Well, you take them any way you can get them. Yeah, but with McGuire, Jordan, Gaetti, Agnazzi, they got some guys in this lineup now that can break a game open with one swing of the bat, and that changes the way Tony La Russa manages the ball game. Whitey Herzog really had his hands tied back in the 80s. He had no choice but to play that bunt and run, hit and run, steal a base. La Russa can sit back a little bit and wait for some of his big boys to do the damage if he so chooses.
I don't know if it's ironic or if it's coincidence. Well, hold on a minute. Buck comes trotting out of the dugout, and he has already signaled to the Diamondbacks bullpen. Amari Telemaco up and throwing in a very good outing today by Willie Blair. Pitches into the 8th inning. He allows 8 base hits and 5 of them wouldn't break a pane of glass, but nevertheless they count. And he leaves on the short end of a 2-0 ball game. So we'll take a break and be back with more in a moment. Well, tonight at 10, it's Fox Sports Prime Time. The scores, the stories, all the action from your hometown team 7 nights a week. Coming up tonight on Fox Sports Arizona, your region of Fox Sports Net.
Look at Willie Blair. Another fine performance. Deserves a lot better fate. Maybe the Diamondbacks will be able to come back and score some runs for him in their half of the inning, but he pitched an outstanding ball game today, particularly putting the collar on Mark McGuire 3 times.
Amari Telemaco, who, as we mentioned, will move into the starting rotation next Saturday, and he'll start against this Cardinal team, is now on relief. Leadoff single here in the 8th inning by Jordan is Chase Blair. You see the numbers on Telemaco. He's done a good job with the Diamondbacks.
And he's been solid lately. His last 6 innings allowed only 2 base hits, a couple of walks, and struck out 3 batters.
Telemaco has seen the Cardinals a couple of times, going back to his days with the Cubs. Check swing, and he went around, did Gaetti. 1-1. Telemaco only 24 years old, and the Diamondbacks, at the time he went on waivers, had the worst record in the league, which gave them the right to claim Telemaco and be able to get him. Buck was talking before the game today that had that occurred the last few days, where the Diamondbacks actually have gone by the Marlins, as there's a base hit into left field. But obviously the Diamondbacks wouldn't get him now, because you know the Marlins would. First 2 on here in the 8th.
Yeah, the Marlins are constantly scouring that waiver wire, looking to unload a guy that perhaps is making a little bit more than somebody on that waiver wire. And Telemaco with a good arm, a young man. There's no doubt about it, they would have claimed him.
Ken Bottenfield will bat, and you know he's up there to do one thing and one thing only. See his numbers as a hitter in his career. He has 2 at-bats this season, no hits and no sacrifices. And it's foul off.
Well, there's a variety of different defenses that you use with runners at first and second in an obvious bunt situation, which this is. With a slow runner at first base like Gary Gaetti, the Diamondbacks may choose to go for the double play. Charge the corner infielders, the third baseman, the first baseman. The second baseman would go over and cover first. The shortstop covers second. Everybody crashes home plate, and you try to turn a double play up the middle of the field.
0-1, and it's bunted in the air. Telemaco, a nice play.
Telemaco charging off that mound on this popped up bunt down the third base line. Just does get his glove underneath that ball. Immediately spins around to check the runners. See if there's a possibility of doubling somebody off. Nice play.
Boy, if he lets that ball fall in front of him. We saw a triple play in the Dodger-Rocky game yesterday. We could have seen another one right there. Royce Clayton takes for ball one. Clayton is 2 out of 3. He has stolen a base and scored a pair of runs. And Clayton beginning to get his season turned around. He had 2 hits 2 games before coming in, had 3 hits the night before this series, and he has 5 hits in this set, including 2 doubles, a home run, has scored 6 times and knocked in 3. And again, we thank Royce Clayton for taking the time and coming over to join us after the ball game on TV Friday night.
He talked about Dusty Baker. He saw him a few weeks ago and talked about he's getting big. It didn't mean he was physically getting big. His swing was getting big. Dusty, of course, was a hitting instructor with the Giants when Royce Clayton was a player there. And Clayton has a tendency at times, especially watching Mark McG and some of the big boys hit him out of the park. He's got a lot of power. He's a very strong young man, and he's going to hit his share of home runs, but if he tries to hit home runs, he's not even going to be a good hitter. Much better off just putting the ball in play, hitting it hard somewhere, take the home runs as they come. And Dusty told him, your swing's getting big, young man.
Two on, 1 out, and it's into right field. It's going to be caught by Brent Brady, and they're going to get a double play at first and the inning, and Tony La Russa is hot. With the first base umpire, Gary Darling. He thought that ball was trapped in right field. So a double play ends the inning. We'll give you one more look. It remains a 2-0 ball game. 2-0 ball game. Cardinals lead it. How about this play in right?
I think the Diamondbacks caught a break here. See, Kareem Garcia comes in with the backhand. I'm sorry, Brent Brady with the backhand of the ball. With the glove turned at that particular angle, the pocket of the glove was facing the ground. The only way that ball could get in there is if it hit the ground first and came underneath the glove. Well, La Russa might have had a good beef right there.
Well, Diamondbacks will take it. And Cardinals have gotten a lot of other breaks today.
Hey, La Russa's a lawyer. He should have been able to plea bargain that.
Brady on the ground at the shield. Let's take a look at our Gatorade trivia question today. Who holds the record for the most home runs at the All-Star break? And that'll be coming up just before July 4th weekend this season. The way Mark McG is going, maybe he will have that record before this year's All-Star game, which will be played in Denver, Colorado's Coors Field. 1-0 to Kelly Stinnett. The ball is strike.
Oh, and once again, that home run derby the day before the All-Star game should be exciting. Although Junior's out in the American League, Juan Gonzalez has bowed out of the home run contest as well. I think that guy's going to love to take some batting practice at Coors Field.
He might hit one to Omaha. Well, you know who will want to come back there and win that thing. Is it strike 3 to Kelly Stinnett? Will be Andres Galarraga. Well, we gave you a minute or two to think about our trivia question. Most home runs at the All-Star break.
Reggie Jackson in 1969 had 37 bombs by the All-Star break. Only 10 more the rest of the season.
And they probably said it was a bad year. He hit 47.
Oh, and he hit 37 in the first half. 47 is not that good.
Out of play.
37 home runs by the All-Star break. Wow.
Well, McGuire has almost 3 weeks to hit what would be 6 more to tie it. 7 more to break it. And Garcia lines one into right center field, a base hit. So a 2-out single by Garcia keeps things alive, and the tying run will come to the plate. And now up to bat will be Mike Robertson.
Robertson's done a nice job as a pinch hitter since coming up from Tucson. 4 times he's been called upon. Twice he's come through with a base hit.
Well, let's see if he can pick up a base hit right here. Good eye on a fastball upstairs from Bottenfield. Cardinals are running the 5th. Another run in the 7th. And we're in the bottom of the 8th with the Diamondbacks trailing 2-0.
See, Robertson's got that index finger on the bottom hand off of the bat. Most major league hitters do that. For a right-handed hitter, it would be the index finger on their left hand, and obviously the opposite for a left-handed hitter. Look at it here as he takes his stance. See that index finger off the bat? Allows the hitter to get a little more leverage. You can slide that top hand down just a little bit further onto the bottom hand.
Two and one.
I've seen hitters actually use an interlocking grip, much like a golf club. Robbie Thompson, great second baseman for the Giants for years, used to use an interlocking grip from time to time.
Garcia first. Diamondbacks down 2-0, and a 2-1 is high. 3 balls and a strike. No activity down in that Cardinal bullpen.
And that may be what Tom Pagnozzi is going out to tell at Bottenfield. You know how tired our bullpen is. You sit down there every day. We need you to get through a couple innings for us here, pal.
Well, you have to believe that Jeff Brantley would be unavailable for the game here tonight. He's pitched each of the last 2 games, and Brantley has not been available for any more than 2 or 3 consecutive days all year long, coming off surgery. 3-1. High pop fly. Should end the inning, and it does. 1 hit, 1 left. We go to the 9th. 2-0 St. Louis. Something ball game. Cardinals lead it as we're set for the 9th inning here in front of a sellout crowd at Bank One Ballpark. What's on tap brought to you by Miller Lite. Our upcoming road trip headed to Cincinnati for a 3-game series beginning on Tuesday, and then to St. Louis 3 next weekend. Boy, 2 of the best baseball towns in America, those first 2. Long storied traditions. And then on to Arlington, Texas, and one of the great ballparks in all of baseball.
That's why they called the ballpark in Arlington.
That's right. One of the nicest places in Arlington. Of course, there ain't much in Arlington.
That's the nicest place in Arlington. Clint Sadowski on to work for the Diamondbacks. You get a look at his numbers on the year. He's not had a particularly good time of it against the Cardinals. His ERA Well, never mind. It's way up there.
In there, a strike to Tom Pagnozzi. What do you do in Arlington? I mean, I know Dallas is close by. Well, let me correct that. A lot of people will tell you that Dallas is close by. There's a ground ball down to Williams, and Pagnozzi retired. Nothing in Texas is close by. The place is so spread out. But what a ballpark there in Arlington. That place is sweet.
Well, it's a good place to go if you want to drop a few pounds, because you can lose weight shaking hands there.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets hot and muggy, which is why a lot of people think the Rangers fade every year at the end of the season. That heat and the humidity just tends to wear them down, so that by the last month or month and a half of the season, they got no gas left in the tank.
Well, you know, they were granted that same courtesy given now to the Diamondbacks, where on Sunday they are allowed to play night games rather than afternoon games. As Mabry swings and misses 1 and 2. The Diamondbacks and the Rangers are the only two clubs in baseball allowed to do that every Sunday. Play Sunday night games, despite the fact that teams have to leave and travel after the ball game. They do not have a roof at the ballpark in Arlington. That's about all they don't have.
And don't you wonder why they don't have a roof?
Yeah, considering they just built the thing 3-4 years ago. I mean, they didn't spare any expense the last time around, as it's fouled off by Mabry. I'm not so sure of all the new ballparks that once you get in the stadium, forget the surrounding areas, and Coors Field is just awesome, the neighborhood around it. You know, Camden Yards is a nice area down there along the water and so forth in Baltimore. I'm not so sure that once you just sit down inside the stadium, as Mabry's gone on strikes, that's not the nicest of all the new ballparks built the last few years.
Well, it certainly gives you a lot of different looks depending on where you're sitting in the ballpark and what you're looking at. They've incorporated some of the best features of older ballparks into the new ballpark at Arlington. The facade on the roof in the outfield is similar to Yankee Stadium. They have an overhang similar to Tiger Stadium. Some of the little nooks and crannies of the other ballparks they've incorporated into this modern stadium. And this is quite the sight. It's something to look at. And they've got a pretty good team on the field, too.
Yes, they do. You know, you talk about Diamondback fans. Here in this series, the final series before we leave to go on the road, they get a chance to see Mark McG. When we come back, the fans that come down to Bank One Ballpark will have a chance to see Juan Gonzalez, who has knocked in 80 runs this season, same as McG. And then in the series after that, Ken Griffey Jr. comes to town with the Mariners. 1 and 2 to Willie McGee. So Diamondback fans, maybe more so than any other fans, will have a real objective, sound point of view on who's the best slugger in the group. McGuire, then Gonzalez, and Jr.
Of course, when the Rangers come into town, you'll get to see one of my guys.
Yes. Rick Helling. There's the one-hopper by Fox into right center field. And McGee aboard with his second hit. Is that who you're talking about?
No. I'm talking about possibly the best player in the game. Pudge Rodriguez plays the most physically demanding position on the field and excels defensively. Leads his league in batting average at 372. Guy is a machine. You don't run on him. You don't pitch to him.
You can only hope to contain him.
You can only hope to minimize the damage. He dominates his position the way Ken Griffey Jr. dominates center field, or Barry Bonds dominates left field. Larry Walker in right field. Pudge Rodriguez is the best defensive catcher in the game. Completely nullifies the running game.
Wasn't he hurt in the game yesterday? I mean, nothing major, but something like keep him out a game or two, I thought.
Just long enough to rest him up so we can see him.
Yeah, right. Delino to Shields. Into left field. Brady will get it. And that'll end the inning. So the Diamondbacks come to bat in the bottom of the ninth. Top of the order due up. Trailing 2-0. Diamondbacks come to bat here in the bottom of the ninth inning, trailing the Cardinals 2-0. Kent Bottenfield set to begin his fourth inning of work out of the bullpen on relief of Petkovsek. And Andy Fox to lead it off, ball one. Into left center field, coming over and making the play. His favorite. 1 out. Our Bank One player of the game, shortstop Royce Clayton, in the thick of the action throughout the day. 2 hits, has stolen a base, scored a pair of runs, both Cardinal runs. But maybe the biggest play he had of the day was on that fly ball into left field with 1 out. He tagged up right in the face of David DeLucci, went to third, and a little infield hit got him home. That one back to the mound. Bottenfield throws in time to get Bell. And the Diamondbacks quickly in the ninth down to their final out.
You know, Buck Showalter was hoping against hope that one of his first 2 batters this inning, or both, would be able to reach base ahead of Travis Lee and then Matt Williams. An opportunity for the long ball to either tie or win the ball game.
Travis Lee has 2 of the 4 hits. Right at Clayton. This should do it. And it does. Diamondbacks for the 5th time this season shut out. Petkovsek wins it 4-3. Blair the loser 2-9. And Bottenfield his 4th save of the year. Our thanks in the booth to Scott Snyder, Ben Alltop, and Steve Gilbert on stats. Our producer Mark Rita, our director Scott Geyer, and our entire crew for Bob Brentley, Greg Schulte, Barry Butel. I'm Tom Brenneman saying goodnight. 2-0 Cardinals winner. Join us Tuesday in Cincinnati, our next game on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondbacks their first visit to the Queen City to play the Reds. Tune in at 4 in the afternoon. 3 in Cincinnati, 3 in St. Louis, 2 in Texas. You've been watching Diamondbacks coverage on Fox Sports Arizona, your home at Fox Sports Net. Have a great day.